Told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quickest in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money, cause I came to multiply it. Put your 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm running up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160, pass you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Pop a champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never break right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they got a race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they got a race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's four wheels, two wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth. And check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the three-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Knupp wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line.
Whoa.
Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
and history made. Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.
Ready to hit the dirt once again in the world of the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series after the streets of Long Beach served up a new race winner. But in Triple Crown event format, it's all about surviving the night and getting through to the very end. Qualifying moments away from getting underway here on Racebot TV. Welcome along, our Junior Keggy Party, joined as ever by the voice of off-road Dave Arnold in the broadcast booth. Dave, it's been a long day for me, but I've been very excited about this, another Triple Crown event in the world of short course.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought you were doing a Ricky Carmichael impression there, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Triple Crown format. I mean, this is the final one, 2 down, the last one to go. We're fresh off the streets. We had a new winner, as you mentioned, out there. Adams just killed it on the streets, but here we're back on the dirt. Will the boys that know how to run in the dirt like Connor Berry? Or will Keaton Swain finally get that elusive win? That's going to be the big question.
You brought it up first this time. That's great.
I know.
At least I'm not going to be viewed as the villain. And remember, we finished the first half of our season as we dive into what's going to be a week off after this, and then get back to action at the Crandon International Raceway. And then after that, a couple of weeks between Bark River and Firebird before what is going to be hopefully a very exciting championship showdown, returning to Crandon for the third and final time this season. Let's talk championship standings though, because yes, Matt Adams won last week, but Connor Barry just continues to build up his advantage at the front of the field. We're now more than 40-odd points clear of the chasing pack behind.
Yeah, it's actually incredible. I mean, I got to tell you, Av's a little bit of a spoiler, but look at the gap there. Luke Knupp's really got to put his head down. He's got to get a couple of drivers between him and Connor Berry to, get some of those points back, because it's been a rough one there. But Dashley hitting strong, but Keaton Swain, I'm not going to count anybody out yet. It's still close in the points. We're just past that halfway point. So if they got there, they can still keep climbing.
And look at those teams as well. You've got 2 Channel 199 sim racing drivers in the top 7, 2 factory SimSport teammates in the top 5, 2 Team Gold teammates in the top 6. And so now 20 points separate Channel 199 Sim Racing from Factory SimSport. That's still very close, even back to Team Gold and Factory Racecraft Academy through the top 4.
Yeah, and it's really great with the team program that we have going on. Some of the guys that aren't out, they're out of the points. They get good finishes, and it's not going to put them in the championship run, but it helps their team standings. And I think that's a new goal too, that some of these drivers say, I got to get some more points for my team. So we're going to see that start to come into play this part of the season.
Some of the teams that have more drivers, only the top 2 count, but it's always nice having the backup in reserve.
Yeah.
Qualifying underway. I will just call out, let's not forget we have our World Cup coming up at the end of the year. We'll have a Pro 2 National Series as well, but drivers that win events are locked into the playoffs. And so right now, Connor Barry, Matt Adams, and Drake Mittag are the 3 drivers that are comfortably ready to go racing later on this year. For everyone else, they're going to start wanting to enter victory lane sooner rather than later for multiple reasons, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of reasons you want to get on because you want to win is the big one. But, the question is how is Adams going to come answering back? Does he have some momentum coming into this thing? It's going to be a real question right there. But I got to tell you, I'm looking at some of the times right now, and we're just starting to put some times up. We see Zach Drapkin out on the course. Some good times. And you can see it's a funky time of the day. You can see the way the sun's sitting there, too. I wonder if that's going to come into play. We'll have to see a full lap here and see if any of these drivers are getting any sun in the face, too. You can see it glaring off the cars, though.
I was just wondering the same thing. It is 6:30 virtual standard time, which is too early to do many things, including going racing. For many of us, that's still time to be in the bed and fast asleep. Drapkin, though, well and truly awake as he flies through that final corner. You really have to commit on entry and turn the car as you're on the brakes as well. And then the blast down to the line, you cross the line in the air, and the Redline All 56 representing Racecraft Academy goes to the top of the timesheets. And there was a decent amount of sun rising up to that opening corner.
Yeah, you can see they're heading east in that section there for sure. But I can tell you, we've had some early qualifying. When I remember being up that early for qualifying at 6:30 in the morning, that would have been a rough one because, we're in the biggest little city, an adult beverage or two may happen.
Getting word from race control that sun's going to move across the course of the event as well. That's really cool to see, I think, for the first time in this Triple Crown format. So what will it be by the end? Probably totally different. Cody Vanderveer, look at focus on his face, currently not having a time on the board, and I'm trying to check my timesheet in front of me. This is his first timed attempt, so he's been waiting to see what the rest of the times are. Currently a 1/10 of a second splits the top 5.
Well, we saw Drapkin, who was early on, but you can see so many other drivers have come out there. Keaton Swain just came out and swung out with the big one, putting him up on top. Trenton Briley, Josh Edmondson, and Drake Matag. Mason Prater still sitting pretty there too. But, the big thing I always, say when it's the early morning hours or the evening hours, it's sometimes in real life, it holds a rut, a bump. You just don't quite see the depth of after something. So knowing the course really helps too, and see how it develops. But, it looks great right now. See how dark it is when they jump down. That's kind of trippy.
Oh, Nicholas Dachelet's just gone to the top 22 thousandths clear of Keaton Swain. It's a 1/10 and a half that now covers the top 6, by the way. So in the last 2 minutes, add half a 1/10 of a second to the front 5. It's still that close. And yet to see Connor Barry amongst a handful of drivers, including Matt Adams and Luke Knupp, yet to set a qualifying time. Speak of the devil, Luke Knupp, 47.950 sits on top.
I guess that was the announcer's luck on that one. You call his name, he goes straight to the top. Yeah. Well, Luke has, been an incredible driver early on, but I think so many other drivers have caught up to his talent. Connor was one of them that we saw, that was always had some talent, some of the real life ones, but some of the other drivers now, we look at the time differences. I mean, it's thousandths and 10,000ths of a second now. It's not seconds like we saw in the past.
This is crazy. I'm just looking through the timesheet. Half a second covers 18 trucks. So make a small mistake at turn 1 and you drop down to outside of the top 20. And the top 16 out of qualifying go directly to the main event. So there is a little bit of emphasis on delivering in this qualifying session. This is going to be a look at Connor Barry. Very tidy down through turn 1. And I'll set the truck up to sling back to the right through turn 2.
Yeah, beautiful setup there, as you can see. It's the one thing that's nice about when you go out and qualify, you're on the track by yourself. It's your track. It's your lines. You don't have to worry about protecting the line. You don't have to worry about making a new line, trying to get somebody. So you could always hit the fastest. And the amazing thing now is these drivers are so consistent on their times. It's crazy.
You can see the 3 medals that Barry's got for winning events this year. Every race winner grabs one of those medals, one of those for a Triple Crown win. 48.031. So it's not pole position for Barry, but it is 4th. So good enough right now to see him advance to the main event.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he gets another run too. So, yeah, I wouldn't count him out completely yet, but that is, not much time to knock off. It can be done. But this was a solid one, yeah.
Just trying to remember what the invert was for these races. Main event 1, 0 invert. So the pole position winner does indeed start from the front. So that makes things a little bit more clear. Remember, for main event 2, there's an 8-truck invert. Main event 3, a 4-truck invert. Barry's gone for 2 consecutive laps. Will there be an improvement? Often we see them head back to pit lane and get a fresh truck before they go again.
Yeah, he went right into it this time. He's feeling pretty confident the truck. I mean, that's a hard slam, but let's see, on top. Bam.
47.867. So it's almost a tenth of a second clear of the rest of the field. Still yet for the Terminator Tyson Miller and Keith Jeffrey to be on the board, by the way, but 35 other machines already on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, it's a, this, triple crown format, you really need to be a good qualifier. That's what you mentioned there, the top 16, they're already going. We're already going to start fighting for it, everybody else in the LCQs. But being in those top 4 positions, I think is really going to help you on this particular track too. It's so fast and it's so hard to pass. I mean, you got to force the issue sometimes.
And, well, these drivers don't always have an issue forcing the issue, if we're being honest. They were told no dive bombs, so there's been some order restored to the, at least, rules of engagement. Tyson Miller, 48.277. It's only good enough to slide him to 19th, so he needs to find 3 more positions to sit inside of the cut line right now. And there's still plenty of activity out on track, I will say, Dave. Some drivers have kept their final lap in reserve to the final couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah, you definitely want to see everybody, is what they're going to do, especially the top drivers. You're like, oof, that's a point I got to shoot for. And, if you know your time, you can get close for it, then you got to get into your zone. You got to get into your moment in the truck. It's your office. It's your, do we run out of time?
No, he's just decided to reset, get the fresh truck, and go back out there. He'll have, I think, 1 more attempt. Just based on lap time, not based on time remaining in the session. There is the Team Gold number 18, Adam McAfee, who's got Batman behind him as he sits in virtual reality. That's reassuring. At least you've got someone to watch over you as you dive into an alternate universe. He does not improve, though, so 21st still for him, and that is his final attempt. So he will be going to one of 2 LCQs, where we'll have as many as 12 trucks battling, but only the top 2 to move on forward.
And, you talked about holding one in the back there. It looked like Knupp had tried to hold one back. See Dashley back out. He's currently sitting 3rd. And by the way, we got to call that the Val Kilmer Batman in honor.
Fair. That was very sad news, especially seeing the last post that went up with him with the Batman mask. So, indeed, Val Kilmer machine tribute for today. That's what we'll call it. Nicholas Dashley 3rd. He's 69 thousandths back from Luke Knupp, 55 thousandths back from Barry. I mean, these margins, we're talking the smallest of mistakes. And so even though it's tough to pass, Dave, what's that going to mean when we go racing for those 3 main events? Because remember, it's not about winning one of those races. It's about getting as many points as possible at the end of the night.
Well, yeah, I mean, just like a championship, a Triple Crown is consistency, consistency, consistency. I can't say it enough. You want to be, up there, in the top 3 every time in order to try and compete. And you just hope the other 2 guys that you fought in the first couple rounds, weren't there with you. At that point, you get to say, I just wanted the Triple Crown. I'm your Huckleberry.
And we've only had a couple of drivers win in these Triple Crown events as well. So it's rarefied air. Yeah. Barry winning the previous Triple Crown event this season, where he didn't finish off the podium across the 3 main events.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Consistency. That's what these guys got to be. And I mean, right now, consistency for him. Connor Berry up on top. Luke Knupp, Nicholas Dashley, Keaton Swain, and Trenton Briley. Those are some big swingers. Edmondson just out. Countryman, Crater, Winicki, Drapkin. I mean, we got, 5 seconds left. I don't think anybody's going to be able to pull a time.
No, that is it. We are done and dusted. And so it's the 2 at the top of the timesheets that have won 2 Triple Crown events apiece, that have qualified 1st and 2nd. Connor Barry and Luke Knupp, their job's done for now. They'll be watching on from the sidelines as we get ready to go for our LCQs, throw 6 laps onto the board. And I see 11 trucks dialed up for the first of those races. So Tyler Shattuck, Joey Herbie, they'll be in the front row and in the best position possible to take those 2 transfers to the main event. But Adam McAfee, Matt Adams behind. Race winner on the streets of Long Beach with some work to do. And then Brody DeShore and Austin Scheiber, your top 6. 7th goes the way of Gavin Plummer. He's got Wes Graham alongside him with Christian Noble and Cross Kirchmeier, the top 10. Fuat Baran rounds out the 11 trucks ready to rumble for the first of the 2 LCQs.
I mean, the crazy thing that our winner from the last round is now having to go to an LCQ. I mean, Matt Adams, you don't expect it. A driver's a driver when it comes down to it, and they figure it out pretty quick. But it's just kind of shocking to see that.
I think it also proves kind of what we were saying last week, that, you know, we kind of expected a ringer to rise to the top. Let's just give a bit of a shout out to the two that kept Matt Adams honest, Connor Barry and Sean Winkler, who finished on the podium.
Yeah, that was, I mean, you know, Sean impressed me on that, and he definitely drove his heart out for that one, that's for sure.
That's one that I very much enjoyed, the trip to the streets of Long Beach, and hoping we'll do it again. The Pro 2 National Series will break out some road course racing from Watkins Glen, so we'll get more of that this season for sure, but that's all yet to come in the two-wheeled portion of the season. And remember, the start of the back half of the Pro 4 Championship time. See, Josh Edmondson just jumped into the YouTube chat to say party time. It's only a party time because he's qualified directly to the main event.
I know. It makes it easy, right? You know, not everybody has that luxury, especially the guys on the dirt right now.
No, if only it could be that easy for all of us. Yeah. Race Control has sent them. 6 laps is not much time as well, Dave. So at a track where it's hard to pass, qualifying well is still important, even back in the pack.
Yeah, it's tough. If you're outside the top 4 trucks, you know, you better get a good start going into that turn 1. Turn 1, I think, pretty much established positions. We've seen very rarely a pass in 2, 3, if you can keep your momentum up and do a sweep on the outside, or able to get your nose up the inside. And like you said, no dive bombing or, you know, no hip checks.
Rules of engagement laid out by Race Control. How long will that last, though? We know what LCQs are all about. It's a great jump from Tyler Shattuck. He's left Joey Herbie very vulnerable through the opening corner. They're going to battle door to door, almost fanning out 4 wide, and they'll plunge down the hill with Shattuck clear. They're all tripping over each other behind, and Joey Herbie's dropped to 4th. McAfee and DeShore side by side to turn 2.
And that's what I was talking about. They were going to stack up. It was, oh my goodness, they got a little push out there. Was that McAfee got slid out?
Oh, it's Joey Herbie, I think.
Herbie, yes. Oh my goodness. Well, you say you got hung out to dry in turn 1. Well, turn 2 took him out.
And, well, Matt Adams has swept through to try and now take advantage. He's up to 2nd, but with McAfee alongside, you can't really run the wall like you can at some of the other short tracks that we have here in the world of iRacing short course. But these drivers likely to use every bit of advantage they can. DeShore's got 2.3 seconds up to your race leader, though. Tyler Shattuck with a wide grin at the end of the opening lap.
DeShore had a great move coming out. You know, that was a nice how he got up in the 2nd. You can see Adams got shuffled back to 4th. Now, Schreiber, he's in the position right now where, you know, he's just outside that bubble. He's going to try and, you know, stick that shoehorn in there. You can see a little bump. Oh, Adams with a nice move up in the 3rd. It looks like was that DeShore got shuffled back? Nope.
And McAfee loses out this time.
Again. Oh, my goodness.
It's tough out there. What do we say? Even though rules of engagement laid out, contact was inevitable, and the gap up front just going to continue to grow. It's all just leaving these drivers more and more vulnerable to drivers who started at the very tail end of this LCQ. Joey Hobie's watching on from the pit lane, but outside of that, everyone else still out there and running, and Matt Adams gets physical up to turn 1. Bullies his way on forward. Austin Schreiber's going to try and follow through as well, but you've got to expect that favor to be returned from the 909.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's going to definitely look to respond right there. It looks like he answered right back again. A little bump and grind. Now, look at Shattuck. He's just gone. He's out of the picture. Real batter is DeShore and Adams and Schreiber right now. Schreiber's not out of this one. I mean, we're 3 laps down, 3 to go. That is still a lot of race time here.
Still, it's enough time that I have a feeling Shattuck could win this race by as much as 10 seconds, which is crazy to say out loud. These 3 are going to continue to squabble. Christian Noble's the one that's slightly closing in. Cross Kirchmeier and Fawat Baran are fighting behind. To be honest, it doesn't really matter if you fight behind. It's just for bragging rights. There's no points. Now, Race Control, they might want to say something. 3 wide, down into turn 2. DeShore's on the inside and going to try and force Matt Adams a long way around to try and concede. Oh, bounces himself up against the wall as they bobble through towards 3 this time around. Some fiberglass flying on the front end of Adams as DeShore holds on. But some physical defense, some physical offense as well.
Yeah, Adams using some real car lines right there. You can see he was trying to work on him, looking inside, looking outside, trying to hit an apex, changing it up a little bit here. Smart driving. Dusher, though, you can see he's really blocking now. Adams tried to get up there, lean on him a little bit. That's okay. Now, this is where you want to see Adams dive to the inside, take that line away going to turn 1. And I think he's going to try and get up in there. But, oh, look at that. Dusher, oh, there he goes, right at the inside. But Dusher's going to be able to try to get up there again. He can't. Oh, he gets shoved off a little bit. He wants to be here. There, and look at this. Schreiber's going to come up and try and get the pass on Adams. Adams gets shuffled back. And look at this. Dusher strong into second now.
Gotta wonder if Race Control is gonna look kindly on Matt Adams 3 laps in a row, trying to just door Dusher out of the way, hold strong on the outside, just avoid falling off the track. And now Matt Adams gets tagged before they enter the jump, and he's just about held on to that machine. That's quite remarkable car control, but it doesn't really matter given that we're on to the final lap of the race, and he's lost about 1.5 seconds up to Dusher. And so now side by side behind into the opening corner. Some contact as Wes Graham gets forced out by Schreiber, who's trying to now pass back Christian Noble. Tyler Shattuck and Brody Dusher, though, at the front of the field, are going to be very, very happy that they'll advance from this LCQ into the main events.
Yeah, the crazy thing, though, Shattuck's already hitting up the hill right now, because Dusher and Adams are just making that left-hander right this moment. You can see Noble trying to look up the inside. He's not going to have any. As some fiberglass goes flying off Adams' truck. But I think you're right. Not enough dirt, not enough time, and not a qualifying position.
And so undamaged for Tyler Shattuck after what was a quite impressive launch for him. He'll win the first of our LCQs. He'll bring with him Brody Dusher to our 3 main events. For the rest of the drivers, their night's done here from the Wild West Motorsports Park in the Triple Crown format. Remember, 16 advance from qualifying, 2 from each of our LCQs to make the field of 20. That's a large margin, not quite 10 seconds at the end, but the Team Gold 37 holds on. Iridium Simsport advance as well. Say goodbye to the rest of the field. Joey Herbie's going to feel quite frustrated starting second and dropping to 11th. But LCQ2 starts with Cody Vanderveer and Tyson Miller up front, Matthew Lindy and Hadley Boyce behind, and then Brock Smith and Dennis Mickelson sharing row 3. Some heavy hitters as well in this field. Taylor Vandenbush, Eric Jones, Carl Cooper, and Solomon Borschinger. It's 10 machines that will roll. Aiden Irvine as ever in race control, handling all the action.
Wow, this is, I'm just shocked. I mean, we saw in qualifying, I mean, like you said, you know, not even a full second separated, 10 drivers? You know, if you added up all their times from each other.
I think you could even go down to the top 20 at some point.
Top 20, yeah.
It was that close. Yeah, no, this is the closest I think we've ever seen qualifying-wise as well, which it bodes quite ominously going to the closing portions of this championship. Sun is starting to move as well, Dave. Not much, but it's now 7:01 a.m.
Yeah, well, a good thing there's no neighbors to wake up there. It's an old gravel pit, and we understand now it's actually been sold and they're going to be building houses there, but there was nothing around. We could stay as late as we want, make as much noise as we want. This was one of the greatest, areas. I mean, it was awesome, and just outside, Sparks, the Reno area, awesome area.
Quite enjoy this track. It's one of my, to be fair, there's 4 tracks. They're all my favorite in the world of iRacing short course. It's hard to pick a favorite amongst them. It's a short run though once the safety truck rolls off before the leader can punch it, and Taylor Vandenbush again is going to be slightly compromised, slightly behind. Your leader gets a great jump, and it just means everyone else stacks up as they roll through the opening corner. So Vanderveer leads. Miller and Lindy wheel to wheel down through turn 2, and you can see behind fanning out almost 3 wide. Let's see if there's any contact. Quite clean, all things considered.
Yeah, it looks like the real battle between Miller and Lindy, though. Like you said, the Terminator, going to try and terminate Lindy coming around the corner. He's got that final qualifying position. Vanderveer's just hoping these two just battle it out, slows them down. We saw that with Shattuck early on in the last heat, or LCQ. But now you can really see Miller and Lindy. They're door to door, but we're going to go back. Boyce, Mickelson, Smith. Oh! Talk about going for a ride. That was Mickelson.
And I think he did go up and over. 4 wide did not work out. Matthew Lindy was slip and sliding for a second in the 333, but holds on. This is a much closer fight than what we had in the first of the LCQs. Remember, top 2 to advance, and so sometimes you see if 2 cars break away, they tend not to fight too much. When you've got a 3rd car in queue, it changes the perspective, and Lindy pokes his way to the inside. Great run off the corner, grabs second away.
And Tyson's going to dive right back and kind of push him wide. That might push him a little too wide. He gets out in the marbles, loses momentum. Now Miller takes that position back. You can see Lindy taking a deep grind into the dirt, trying to get some speed back up. Boyce a little bit out of it now with Smith, but only 2 laps. It's going to be 3 laps to go when they go by one more time. But a great shot there from Lindy as he tries to track down the Terminator.
He's had some technical issues earlier this season, but we know just how quick Lindy can be. Still that sun in the eyes through that opening corner. Less contact from Lindy than what we saw in the first LCQ, but he's just trying to now compromise the Terminator's line, hoping not to overslow, though, compared to Van der Veer. That's a bit of contact to the right rear, just leaning on the 90, reminding him that he's there. No fiberglass flying by any means as they head up the hill to the final corner.
Those are just little love bumps, I like to say, saying, hey, buddy, what's up? I'm right here. Don't forget me. But a great line by Miller for sure. You know, Lindy is trying to, get in there. He's going to have to try and force the issue. He's going to have to get the old shoehorn out, I think, because Miller's been just slamming the door in his face.
Tried there for a second. There was a bit of contact through 4, but if anything, it just slowed them down relative to your leader. Not much else between them. That's a bit more of that love kiss as they head down through 1 once more. Hanley Boyce still sticking about 1.5 seconds behind, increasingly looking back to Brock Smith, but we've got 3 laps to go, including the one that we're on. Mounting the curb for a moment there went Matthew Lindy. Didn't go over, fortunately. Would have been the second flip of this LCQ, but he's all over the back of the Terminator, and at some point this battle's going to brew into something physical.
And it's great control, I got to say, by Lindy, because he's not, putting too much pressure to try and change the attitude too much. Just trying to rub up the side a little bit, just put a little pressure on him. I mean, that's the stuff you want to see. You don't want to see him where, oh boy, he just looped out or he got flipped over. That's just too much. You don't want to punt somebody. So very good control, and I got to say, Tyson's keeping a very cool head, because that can get into your head a little bit too when someone starts leaning on you, because you're going to feel that in the wheel.
On one side, you've got a teenager, and then on the other side, someone who's a bit more grown up in the world of sim racing, which is often something that leads to tension. But I love the respect that we're seeing between the two of them right now, right? I mean, the Terminator's not put a foot wrong in this defense. He just slammed the door shut everywhere he needs to. Lindy's going to have to get desperate onto this final lap. It's going to be interesting. Just 4 corners to navigate through. Lindy's a bit far back through towards the line.
Kind of like the old bull and the young bull right there. Just, take his time. And that's what Miller's doing. He's just hitting his lines. It's his time, it's his line, it's his track right now. It's Lindy's job to try and get around him.
And even up through 1 for the final time, I don't think Lindy was close enough to try and make that bit of contact. So it's going to be desperation down to 2. Carry that speed as they descend down the hill. But he's not close enough to even give him that love kiss. Just 2 more corners left to hold on.
Yeah, and it's shocking to hear some of these names that aren't going to qualify going on to the main event that have been regulars in there. Lindy could be one of them. I'm not going to, speak until we get around that final turn and cross the checkered flag, but it looks like Van der Veer and Miller are going to be racing in the Triple Crown tonight.
Got to be careful. Race control would take a look if something were to happen, but as they dive out of the final corner, no such drama for Cody Van der Veer, and nothing behind as well as Tyson Miller holds on. A very tight final LCQ, but our 20 drivers now locked and loaded for our 3 main events as we continue to rumble from Wild West Motorsports Park in the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series. Quick look at the results before we'll take a quick break from the racing action. It's 1.8 seconds, that margin between first and second. Tyson Miller holding off Matthew Lindy, though. And so Lindy, Boyce, Smith, Vandenbush, Jones, Borschinger, Cooper, Mickelson, some big names missing out in this second LCQ. Well, as mentioned, a little bit of a break from the racing as we get ready to go. We'll switch sessions here in iRacing, which means our drivers have got to disconnect and reconnect. And when we come back, we'll get ready to go for the first of the 3 main events here tonight.
Told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quick as in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money cause I came to multiply it. Push a 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm running up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160 past you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Popping champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never break right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they got a race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit the motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they got a race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit the motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's four wheels, two wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth. And check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the three-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Knupp wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line. Oh. Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
and history made. Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.
We've spun the clocks forward, the sun's come out, and we're ready to go for the 3 main events in the world of the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series, presented by Team Real Racing and APV Simulators. Welcome along, Arjuna Kankipati, joined alongside by Dave Arnold, the voice of Off-Road, as we get set to go. Dave, this is going to be fun. 3 races increasing in length as we crown a champion over the course of the night.
Yeah, this is going to be incredible. I mean, just watching those LCQs, watching the scrappers trying to make their way in, but really can't call some of them scrappers because they're some of the main names that we see. So this was a rough one for these guys, but I'll tell you, it's going to come down to those top 4 positions. They come out of turn 1 each time in that position without, unfortunately getting forced over by somebody, which we've seen in turn 1 before. It's going to be interesting.
So we'll have some inverts over the course of the night as well. No inverts for this first main event, 8 for the second, and then 4 for the third. So you've got to keep that in mind, how the drivers are going to have to shuffle themselves through the pack. So look at Zachary Drapkin behind the wheel of the red line all number 56.
Yeah, it looks like his bed's made. Good job, Zach. But I'll tell you, Drapkin's had a little bit of a drought, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do if he can get back out there again and come out swinging. But it's going to be interesting.
There's a look at Connor Barry, championship leader, of course, over 40 points, the championship lead. And we'll talk about Triple Crown points tonight, Dave. What that means is the points they're accumulating in each race. But the championship points are paid out at the end of the night based on how many points over the course of tonight those drivers accumulate.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is, getting these points to come through and being consistent with through these 3 races. That's going to be darn interesting to see how it's going to happen with these guys. There's Winkler, 3rd place out of Long Beach. I'm looking to see what he's going to be able to do.
That was a very impressive performance as well, how close he was able to stay to those at the very front of the field. Just a reminder, ever in need of real estate in the Washington area, give him a call. Christopher Plumley behind the wheel of the Plum entry has the wide virtual reality goggles on and plenty of space for someone to be behind him and not disturb him in virtual reality as well. He looks very locked in.
Yeah, it looks like he's got Big Brother up there on the camera watching him, though. That's where the wife keeps an eye on him, make sure he's behaving himself in the basement.
Keeping himself out of trouble in the sim.
Yes.
They're getting qualifying done right now. What that basically means is they're ordering themselves up in the order they finish qualifying. We're in a new iRacing session, so they're just manually getting that sorted. And once it's done, we will get ready for, as mentioned, the first of those 3 main events. 10 minutes in length, 12 for the second main event, and 13, I believe, for that final one. So increasing in length, Track Evolution's going to play its part as well, Dave.
Yeah, and that's, we've seen that come into play more and more is how the track tends to break down a little bit. And getting out of the marbles, getting a little bit loose. Some of those fast lines you thought you can make a pass on, you end up just spinning your tires on. It's going to be curious to see how the blue grooves develop.
Well, I think they've gotten their instructions from race control, so let's take a look at that starting grid as they get ready to go for the first 10 minutes of the night. Barry and Knupp on the front row, the championship leaders who have also taken all the Triple Crown wins between them so far. Dashley and Swain will line up behind, looking to try and pip them tonight, with Trenton Briley and Josh Edmondson making up the front 6. Remember, top 16 out of qualifying, so Thad Countryman, Mason Prater, Cody Winicki, and Zachary Drapkin. They've just been waiting and watching, as have Christopher Plumley and Drake Mittag, a winner a couple of weeks ago. Evan McFarlane, Crystal King, Sean Winkler, and Keith Jeffrey, the final machines rolling out from qualifying, while Tyler Shattuck, Cody Vanderveer, and then Brody Shore and Tyson Millard, the final machines who had to fight their way through the LCQs. Ignore Aiden Irvine, as ever, race control ready to handle the business at hand. I'm excited, Dave. What are you expecting for the first of these races tonight?
Well, I expect the first race is going to be a little tamer, you know. We may see a couple of movements from the back, but I think those first 4 drivers are the ones to keep the eye on. You know, if they can make, like I said, make it out of turn number 1, we're going to have a good race.
Green, not going green.
Remember, rules of engagement laid out by race control, but that's always something just to put on the side. Once we go racing, the tempers sometimes will flare. For some of these drivers, they're pretty good at putting themselves in the right position at the right time. Remember, 3 races over the course of the night, and the most points accumulated will be our winner. It's going to be Barry in control once that truck in front of us pulls off to the right and gets us underway. Should be an additional formation lap before we get things going. So these drivers get an additional lap to let that tension build. And I think tension's probably the right word for what's in the air right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the first race of 3 races to come. You know, the butterflies are probably there a little bit, even though these guys look calm. You know, their guts are turning. You know, they're thinking about it. It's the adrenaline. It's a good feeling. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been, you know, pulling up around that line, getting ready for that green flag, and it's like all of a sudden the nerves go away and then the focus comes. It's kind of a strange thing. It's enjoyable though.
I went karting for the first time in ages over the weekend. Yeah, when I put the helmet on and the visor down, I got locked in. I can remember exactly that feeling, and I can kind of imagine it's similar for these drivers, even in the virtual world.
Oh yeah, I mean you get into a zone. I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, we've all driven in the Sims, and it's focus. You forget where you're at. You know, what's in front of you is what's going on in your world at that moment.
Well, let's see how much these drivers have put everything else aside and focused up, because that pace truck's about to pull off and away, and Connor Barry's going to be left in control of the field, ready to go for the first of the Triple Crown races. He's got his championship contender, though, alongside. Behind them, Nicholas Dashley and Keaton Swain are hungry as well. A good jump from Slicky as he leads us up the hill, and already, I think, an opportunity for Dashley to pounce. He'll slide his way to the inside of Luke Knupp, gets a great run off the opening corner as well, and boxes Knupp out initially, but down to turn 2, Knupp makes his presence known, and the fight for second is on.
And you can see the inside, it's going to be Knupp. You can see Dashley on the outside. You can see Trenton Briley right behind Dashley, hoping to get that ride with Drapkin as they try to move around. You saw Drapkin moving up. He's in 10th right now. He's on the move. Oh, somebody hitting the K-rail.
That's Drake Mittag, a winner earlier this season, who's now dropping to the very tail end of the pack. That's unfortunate for him. But as the mad scramble off the final corner sees, I think that's Keaton Swain down to 6th position, battling alongside with Thad Countryman. So not a great start for that number 21 Sim Coach's machine. Good jump, though, for Barry at this start has now meant that he's led the opening lap and sees those lunges from behind. Trenton Briley passes Josh Edmondson with relative ease, but still it's Nicholas Dashley in that second spot trying to hunt down the race leader.
And you see Edmondson trying to answer right back to the inside. Countryman coming right behind him. You can see Briley goes to the inside. You can see on the outside is going to be Edmondson. He gets him as we watch Swain now looking up on the inside of Briley. And I don't know if he's going to have enough momentum coming up the hill, but let's see if we can get a little drag race. They are door to door drag racing up. Briley trying to get to the inside there.
You can see Josh Edmondson trying to get the truck turned in early just as they were heading into the air, but I think Briley on the inside able to hold the position. And now on the outside, it's difficult for Edmondson. He's going to have to keep an eye on Keaton Swain behind, who's also going to be thinking about getting in on the action. Meanwhile, Thad Countryman, Mason Prater there as well. Remember, 8 truck inverts. And Mason Prater right now sitting, well, pretty, some would say, in the hot seat. Inverted pole for main event number 2.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword when you're thinking about it. You know, I don't want to finish 8th in the first one, but I'll be on the pole in the second one. That's not what's in their mind. They go, if I could fight my way from the back to get up there in a better position, I think that's what they're going to try and do. I don't think any of these drivers are going to settle thinking about the invert. They may know the invert, but that's not where they want to be. No.
you get the points, and then think about in the next race how you get some more points. Maybe on the final lap, if you're in 8th position, you're thinking about how you hold it, but not much else. Zachary Drapkin in 9th. He is thinking, though, how can I get up a little bit more? Maybe 8th would not be a terrible place to be. Christopher Plumley shoved his way on forward. This is why short course is great. They're not losing too much time through all of this as well, and we're not going to get any competition cautions in these main events. That would pack the field back up. So as they continue to brawl slightly further behind, on board with Plumley now, all they're doing is potentially costing each other some time to those up fronts.
And you can see Plumley with his sights set right there on Prater as they're heading up the hill there. Drapkin in front of him. But, Plumley's got Jeffrey there. Winicki. And also Prater's in front of him. So he can't go to the outside. He's getting blocked. And you can see he had to slide really wide there.
Continuing to roll.
Now, just real quick, something real important. I like the fact that the comp caution was originally for television. Okay, racers got stretched out, didn't look like much of a race, jacked them back together, and made it look like a race. Our talent is so good right now, I don't even know if competition cautions are even necessary anymore. I mean, just for the qualifying time, watching this racing, this is incredible.
What it does do is mean that we can get these fights behind, and then as the front 3 or 4 just sit single file and don't cost each other too much ground, it lets those behind get back in the fight. So I'm all for it in that regard. 3 wide, Plumley's in the middle of that little pack with, I think, Prater trying to join the fun. Cody Winicki slides his way around the outside. We're looking back from Trenton Briley, who's now the one sat in that 8th position, the hot seat for the inverted pole. We're not even halfway through this first main event. We're going to close on that point by the time we end this next lap, but it just goes to show we've completed 6 laps so far. These races are going to be very, very frenetic for our drivers.
Oh, absolutely. You saw Prater with a nice little dive bomb to the inside of Plumley, and you can see that Winicki was also trying to get into the fight there. Winicki, these little batch of 3 right here, Prater, Winicki, and Plumley, boy, they've just been going back. There's a race within the race with these guys. And you talked about 8th place. Well, Trenton Briley, he's that man sitting in that spot. Prater's just 1 spot out. Now, if you're in 9th, you definitely want to get up 1 position for sure. But, other than that, you wouldn't, if you're 8th, you're going to go, I want to get 7th, even better. But more points, more points, more points.
I think we need to give a shout out, by the way, to Nicholas Dachelet, who's 3rd in the championship right now. He's only 9 points back from Luke Knupp, and he's not really feeling the pressure from Knupp in 3rd right now. So Dachelet sits very, very comfortably 2nd in this race. It's been a very, very good start to his championship season. And the reason we're not looking at them at the front of the field is because of this great racing further behind, with 4.5 minutes left to go. Not quite a move from Cody Winicki as he slides out of the groove. Can see that the track starting to show some signs, though, of the evolution as well.
Yeah, you can see a lot of guys going around the outside, not diving bombing to the inside as often there. Looks like the track has started to deteriorate a little bit on the inside. Plumley with a nice move to the inside of Winicki as he traddles him down the hill. And you can see Prater now starting to pull away from these 2 guys.
And you can just see as well, right, that little bit of fighting opens up that gap, and potentially now, if Plumley can hold on the inside, you could close up, but no, instead Cody Winicki, a power move around the outside. That was great driving there.
And looks like Winicki's going to rotate, keep his nose down low, trying to keep Plumley from getting a drive there. Made him square that turn off, shaved a little speed, and allows Winicki with a good run. Now, Plumley, he's got a good run there. I think, unfortunately, when he got squared off, he lost that momentum. And look at Winicki, with a great run there.
4-wheel drive isn't a cheat code, even in these Pro 4 trucks. There's 900 horsepower, but you're trying to manage your momentum. And we'll get to the Pro 2 National Series later this year. Those have just about the same amount of power, but only going through the rear wheel. So a bit more control that the drivers need to have. That was an attempted slide job, I think, from Mason. Prater just avoided that bit of contact.
Yeah, I think Briley was too out front for him to go for that move, and he was like, well, maybe a little too early on that one. But Mason, is a good line coming around. He's trying to set him up, but Briley's got some good lines right now. I can't take that away from him. He's just hanging 1 tire out, keeping the 3 tires on the drive. You see him go into the fluff a little bit.
You did mention, though, that the quality of the field now is so high that everyone basically does have a chance of winning. The problem is when you have a driver like Connor Barry, you're just not making any mistakes right now. He's delivering in qualifying and putting himself at the front where he needs to be. It's hard for anyone else to grab victories in a championship like this, where the racing is as tight as this. The fiberglass has gone flying, by the way, in these sort of battles. We're on the 10th lap of the race. Expect maybe 3 more to go at the line, so 3 more opportunities to find a move at the Wild West Motorsports Park.
You know, it reminds me, I mean, I'm not going to really compare some of these drivers, but, you know, Ricky Huseman and, of course, late and great, you know, Kyle LeDuc, God rest their souls. You know, they were some of the best out there in the game, but they didn't win every day, but they made everybody else step their game up to compete. And yeah, they lost a few, but it was making everybody else step up. And I think having drivers like Connor and Nicholas and Luke and Edmondson and all that makes the other drivers step their game up.
And maybe in some ways it's good that the trucks haven't been changing too much. These drivers have had the chance to kind of focus their craft in bettering themselves, whereas, you know, I commentate on some of the road car championships where some of the drivers do race as well, but the models in iRacing seemingly change every couple of months, and so every time I talk to a driver, it's like, ooh, I'm trying to understand how I need to go fast now. Which is a totally different ball game compared to Dave, this world where you're just trying to get better and better.
Well, I mean, yeah, for the smaller privateers, whether it's real racing or this, or, you know, you have guys that help you with the setups. That's what's so great about these teams. It's the setups, and no matter what league you're in, you know, they're going to tell you what the, you know, the spring ratios, the, you know, the brake bias, all the little tricks, how much fuel you're going to run. It all makes a difference. I mean, I got used to somebody doing all that for me and go, oh, it's doing this. Okay, I'll fix it. Okay. What'd you do? You wouldn't understand. Okay. Which now I do, and that's the big thing. It's, you know, a lot of these young drivers, they've had some of the ones in real life experience understand having to set up because they've been racing with their families, and that means they have to be more hands-on.
And maybe that's one good thing about the sim, is if you are curious, you can just go and make all those random clicks and try different things. And even if it's not one-to-one with the real world, at least you get that understanding of, as you make changes, what you want from a truck. I think that's a really important part. Back up front, by the way, we have not looked at these drivers effectively since lap 2 because they've just been running in each other's tire tracks. Nicholas Dashley has closed up to Connor Barry, though, and this is a great sign that once we start inverting the field, it's only going to get more intriguing. Yes, there's been no passes at the front, but you feel the battle is brewing. Connor Barry's going to win the first of the races, though, here in the Triple Crown, behind some battles that could matter on the run to the line to see who gets the inverted pole position. Trenton Browley should hold on there, but Connor Barry holds on at the front of the field.
An incredible run there with Nicholas Dashley and Luke Knupp, followed by Edmondson, Swain, Countryman, Drapkin, and like you said, Briley. He may be 8th in this one, but now he's going to be sitting on the pole for the next one. And that is a big advantage, too. I mean, I know I kind of downplayed it early on, but, man, it's a good spot to be in right now. But you can see that Channel 199 Sim Racing took another win here.
It's great for them. It's great as well that we have so many of the different teams up there towards the front. Dashley, Knupp, Edmondson, Swain, Countryman, Drapkin, Briley, and then Prater Winicki just missing out on the invert in their Impact Sim Sport entries. Plumley, Jeffrey, King, Winkler, Miller, Deshore, Shattuck, and McFarlane. A couple more of the machines not getting to the end, so Cody Vanderveer and Drake Mittag will start at the back. But let's flip the front 8 and get ready to go with Trenton Browley, Zachary Drapkin, and then Thad Countryman and Keaton Swain, the front 4. Edmondson and Knupp are behind them. And then as you get through the rest of the field, Dashley, Barry, Prater, Winicki, Plumley, and Jeffrey. And effectively, these drivers as they finish. So 13th is going to be Crystal King, 14th is going to be Sean Winkler, and then Tyson Miller, Brody Deshore, Tyler Shattuck, Evan McFarlane, Cody Vanderveer, and Drake Mittag. Before we get going, though, we need to have a quick chat with our winner of the first race of the night. Let's catch up with Connor Barry, standing by with Dave Arnold.
Well, Connor, race 1 of the Triple Crown, it's out of the way. Definitely felt a lot of pressure back there from Nick Dashley for sure, but now you're in 8th. What is your strategy?
My strategy is it don't die. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very just tough out there. I mean, the whole field is within I believe a second. So it's gonna be close. I feel good about my speed. Just I need to go out there and be smart and go try and get this win. I hope so. It's gonna be fun, and we are going to put on a show.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Got to say good luck to you as well as your other competitors right now, and you'll be playing again with Dashley and Knupp right by you.
Yep, it's gonna be fun.
Right on. All right. Well, Connor Berry, as he comes out, tries to swing his way back up to the top position from 8th. We'll see how it plays out.
Nice to get that little chat with him. Always nice in the virtual world that we don't have to worry about radio frequencies and stuff. We just drag them into a Discord channel and things just suddenly work. Barry's going to grid up. We'll get ready to go and add 2 minutes to the clock this time. So 10 minutes becomes 12, and the 8-car invert for the final main event turns to 4. So a slightly different complexion in this race.
Yeah, it's a little later in the day now. Now the track's not reset. They're going to be from what they raced on to now and the next one. It's going to slowly deteriorate, and I know you mentioned that early on. So let's see how that's going to play into it.
It's now 1:30 in the afternoon, so the clock has started to shift. Again, we're going to get the full formation. We're going to get the full formation lap as well. Some more time for these drivers to sit and wait.
Yeah, you know, of course, a little bit of sun in the high. It's warmed up a little bit. It's now 88 degrees in the air temp. It means the track starts to dry out. That always makes it interesting.
I wonder how many of these machines, the setup shifts over the course of the event as well, right? We talk about the evolution in terms of temperature, in terms of the wear, so many of those different factors. That is where having teammates is helpful as well, because the more teammates you have, the more laps you can go and turn around a track.
Yeah, it almost looks like they watered some sections, but it looked like it was mud they went through just there. Yeah, but that is a good point about the teammates, you know, their thoughts on, you know, what they think, and the lines have changed.
That does require that your teammates have helped you, which...
Yeah.
No, I've been on teams where I've not contributed, and I know that, you know, that happens elsewhere as well. So you got to give a shout out to some of the setup builders who sometimes aren't always the fastest race car drivers, but, you know, enjoy getting the car dialed in to do exactly what it needs to do.
It's like a good crew chief.
And there are plenty of those actually in the sim racing world. There's some crew chiefs actually that have helped teams win sim racing championships, and then helped McLaren win the Formula One Constructors Championship last year. So nice little shout out there for George Simmons.
And that's interesting to really think about it, that how it's not just a video game, it's a real sim, and we're now taking real life stuff in with crew chiefs and spotters, and, you know, it's everything. It's just mind-blowing.
It's crazy how far the platform has come since the early days in the old 2-bit video games, all the way now to where we lie in 2025. There's a look at Crystal King in the Shenandoah Shine entry. What can she do as she rumbles from 13th position? Hard at the pack, you can see the concertina building as the drivers try and judge when your leader's going to launch them. Trenton Briley's in control of the field. Zach Drapkins alongside. Countryman and Swain sat then 3rd and 4th position. Good jump from your leader. Now, how aggressive does Countryman go against Zachary Drapkin? Some leaning, but not much shoving really as they head down out of turn 1. Behind them, Keaton Swain's had a much cleaner start than he did last time around. One truck slipping and sliding off the surface, but comes back on. 3 wide in the heart of the pack. Connor Barry trying to stay out of trouble.
And that Countryman with a nice move there. He goes, that Prater slid around the outside there, trying to get some moving. You see Plumley now on the move. There he's leaning on, it looks like Crystal King there just a little bit. You can see now Trenton Briley, Drapkin, and wow, Countryman and Swain. Swain was looking to the inside, so that's going to be interesting. Oh, yep. 3 wide.
There's plenty of those drivers thinking aggression in the early stages here. Contact mid-air. They're still shoving each other back and forth, but they'll just about hold on. That's great car control from these machines slightly further behind. But as they now cycle through one, they're increasingly losing time up front. Knupp's gone wide. He's been bullied as well. Josh Edmondson's forcing him to make a bit more contact. And around the outside, the championship leader is going to try and sweep his speed on through. And Barry fighting for 5th alongside of Knupp.
And Barry took the long way around. You can see now looking at the inside of Knupp. Pushing Knupp a little wide there, keeping there. It looks like behind Barry it's going to be Edmondson trying to follow. But Knupp with a good drive up there. Barry trying to establish to the inside. It's a good point. Knupp's going to turn down, try and take that line right away. Barry's going to try and get a little slide job right to the front and takes that position. And Edmondson's going to duck in behind Knupp.
And remember, for Connor Barry, in our first Triple Crown of the season, he was on the podium in all 3 of the races. That was what propelled him to the victory. Josh Edmondson, though, behind his teammate now, Connor Barry, forces Luke Knupp out wide. Channel 199 trying to run further up through the running order. But those front 4 looking very comfortable for the time being. Knupp with the switchback, though, in the APV Simulator's 5 entry. Not quite working out as he's lost the right front fender of fiberglass.
Yeah, definitely trying to battle with Josh Edmondson there. Edmondson with a good line and a good block coming through there. Knupp couldn't get the run off the turn that he wanted there, as we could look back at Barry making his way through. Now Knupp moves to the inside. Edmondson going to try and move down, but look at this. Just how Connor Barry made the pass on early on. Now he is doing it back. We can see this. I will tell you, Luke Knupp with a great move on Edmondson.
Lost them some time up to Connor Barry, who's trying to now slide his way forward to 4th. A bit more contact between these two. RG Bargy as Dashley, I think, joined the fray through that opening corner as well. Top 2 starting to squabble, though. I think Browning and Drapkin are thinking about their little bit of a battle. Edmondson gets physical down through turn 2. This is all just getting more and more intense, and that's what you expect. We're only shaved 3 minutes off the clock so far. 9 minutes still left to go, and they're stacked up behind. Dashley and Jeffrey getting mixed up.
Yeah, you can see it looks like Crystal King got caught in that also. Oh my goodness, everybody's getting shuffled back there. Vanderveer, King in the back, Dashley now all the way back too. Wow, crazy.
It's just continuing to incur some more drama for some of these drivers. Some have made good progress. Drake Mittag is plus 12. There's some other drivers a bit less fortunate. Minus 7 for Nicholas Dashley. Barry has got past that countryman, by the way, so he's now up to 4th. Might have a bit of a fight back brewing, but he's still focused forward on Keaton Swain. And then the 1.5 seconds up to Browning and Drapkin. This is the replay. What happened is Edmondson pinched, and then it was just rumbling up against the wall. They all got stacked up.
And Prater ended up getting it. And then you can see the impacts like an accordion back there you talked about. And it looks like they're hooked together there for sure. But what a shame there. But I got to say, hats off Connor Barry up to 4th. But I'll tell you, Keaton Swain is definitely going to make it difficult to try and, hold that podium there. Zach Drapkin, he got by Trenton Briley. Now Briley trying to work him on the outside. You can see go for the outside in. Let's see if Drapkin goes into protection mode here in turn number 2 to keep it low.
Feel confident.
He tried to make him square it off there. I'd scrub speed off for Briley.
Feel somewhat confident saying, by the way, that for Connor Barry, he won't feel too bad stuck behind Swain, because that will put him back on pole position for the final main event, and 2 victories and a 4th position. That'll be good enough for him to grab the win. Briley looked to the inside, tried to grab it back from Drapkin, and there was the contact. Barry made some contact to Keaton Swain as well. 2 by 2, they're going to run to the line. End of lap number 6. Not even halfway through the 2nd main event. Barry trying to grab 3rd. Trenton Briley still trying to grab the race lead back, and he went wide through that opening corner, trying to push Drapkin out of it, but down to turn 2. Drapkin still on the inside.
And it looks like Countryman trying to get back into the mix there. Swain holding on to that last qualifying position, or I should say that pole position. We're going into the 3rd and final round. But look at the battle now, door to door. Countryman and Swain. Swain to the inside, and you can see Connor Barry right in front of him there. Trenton Briley and Drapkin making the run, leading the charge up the hill to the turnstile. You can see they're going to hit these fingers again coming out. Who's going to the inside? Who's going to get unsettled? Countryman dives the inside of Swain. Pushing Swain a little hard, but Swain keeps it tight. And Swain still holds on to his 4th place position. Oh, it's going to be gnarly into turn 1 here. or Juno, my goodness.
Some great fighting, though. This is great stuff. The Triple Crown just increasing the intensity as we get through the format. Remember, not much passing in that first main event at the front of the field. Much more for us to work our way through. Not even just at the back. Briley and Drapkin, they'll switch back and forth as they head to 3. Countryman trying to find his way back up to 4th, but Keaton Swain in that Sim Coaches 21. Just leaving a little bit of a half door open, but that will let him get the power down very nicely on the entry up towards turn 4. Barry has a look to the inside on Zachary Drapkin, though, and the Racecraft Academy 56 has to delay the turn, and it lets the 2 slide forward to second place. Barry's on the charge once again.
Absolutely incredible there. You can see Swain getting slowed down just a little bit as he protects his position from Countryman. You know, Swain knows, you know, if he's going to get stuck there and he can't get forward momentum, then you want to be in that pole position. That could give him to get the chance to get that dry spell. He's thirsty for a win, I'll tell you that.
It would be going on 1,000 and almost 100 days now since Keaton Swain grabbed his last win here in the iRacing Short Course National Series, but it's going to need a bit more given Barry's performances. 5 minutes left to go. It's going to be hard to deny, I think, Connor Barry another trip towards the front of the field. Trenton Briley's going to have to find the blocks as the laps tick away.
And you can see Briley's definitely blocking now, as you can see Connor Barry up on his bumper trying to force the issue. Let's see if he's going to, you know, dive to the inside coming up at turn 1. Barry looking calm there as he goes to the inside. Tries to get a nice little slide there. Briley keeps it tight, keeps the nose, keeps the pressure on. And it's a good position you want to be in going to the inside into turn 2.
But this is where you expect the wisdom from Barry. He knows exactly what he's setting up here. Probably doing just all the right things for the time being, though. Drapkin's got to watch out because he doesn't look too willing to be too aggressive right now. That might allow those behind to look forward as well and see it's not just 1, 2, or 3 at the front. The train does go all the way effectively back to 7th, and one mistake and things could get a lot more interesting. Barry with good line through that final corner. Not the best of exits, though, compared to the leader, who's going to hold the run towards the opening corner. The look to the inside, though, from the number 2 machine, and the mistake from Trenton Briley to leave the door open, and the exit off the corner leaves the drag race to turn 2.
Yeah, I think Connor was a little late on that braking there, allowed him to keep that momentum. Briley made the mistake, leaving that door open, getting on it a little bit. And Smart tries to push him a little wide there. Briley's going to swing it around here, try and take that position right back. He's going to be in that preferred line on that center of the track coming up. Let's see what's going to happen here. And it looks like they're going to be door to door. Look at this. Oh, man. Briley trying to go around the outside, but it's going to be Barry. Sticks it in front for the final time. But Drapkin, look at this. Drapkin thought he was going to get a move.
Could barely tell that Briley's in the fight, but the brawl continues up to the opening corner. Keaton Swain has his look to the inside, and now as Zachary Drapkin leans on the 17 momentarily, it's all as the race leader breaks away once again. Luke Knupp's fighting alongside of Josh Edmondson slightly further back, so your championship leaders 1 and 2 getting separated on the road right now. And I love the timing of the cut to Zachary Drapkin, the look of frustration, the fiberglass flying as Keaton Swain around the outside battles with Briley for second.
Yeah, and you saw Countryman's also battling that with Knupp, and that's why Drapkin's starting to feel the pressure. Unfortunately, you get those guys in the, 3-4 wide there, you just can't back off. You can't leave those doors open. You got to stay aggressive.
And well, if you're Zachary Drapkin, look up the inside to the opening corner. Don't overcommit, overcook this, because behind, Luke Knupp's right there as well. Trenton Briley almost got tagged, but just about held on there by Drapkin. Very, very nice line. Almost slipping off the track goes Countryman, but Knupp's left on the outside in his fight with Keaton Swain. A little bit of contact there behind Zachary Drapkin, but off the corner, nice and tidy.
And it looked like Edmondson and Countryman trying to get into the fight there. Is finally Drapkin got a little bit of separation, but Knupp answers right back now as Swain applies the pressure. Knupp in that 4th position. Swain just outside that cut going into the invert for race number 3. He knows where he needs to be, because he knows at this point with only 1:30, it's not going to be a chance to win. So you might as well take a good start position for that. Knupp already with a great finish, of course, in the first round.
This is, again, such an interesting format. 3 races, increasing in length, a couple of different inverts, and it does produce some electric racing, even when sometimes it's difficult to pass. On the outside, the long way around, would try the cutback, but Drapkin's not really leaving that door, and you've got to be careful for Swain to plug that gap as well. It's going to be a 2-second advantage. We will see the white flag this time around, and Zachary Drapkin is there. He's got to the inside on Trenton Brierley, and to turn forward to the fingers for the penultimate time. It's going to be aggression on the inside from the red line all 56 machine as he gets shoved by the APV Simulators number 5.
I hate to say that, but I think Luke Knupp just helped out Drapkin just a little bit, and it hindered Briley. He pushed him right past him at that point. Now Knupp going to carry speed, gets out of shape there, and oh no, Drapkin! He overshoots the corner and loses 3 spots in a blink of an eye.
Now, was there a bit more contact from Luke Knupp to help Drapkin get down to 5th? Well, race control will see. He's decided it's time to get the elbows out, though, down to 2 for the final time. 3 wide through turn 3. Drapkin left the long way around. Knupp on the inside, and he'll hold on to 2nd place as Keaton Swain makes his presence known as well. And that is frustration, anger, and rage on the face of Zachary Drapkin. We're in for a fun fight in the final race tonight. As he gets bullied down the field, it's Connor Barry up front grabbing the win for the 2nd time tonight in the main event.
And Edmondson and Swain just squeezed him out just a little bit there. So Drapkin just outside the cut there. So Swain's going to get the pole on race number 3. Yeah, I'm going to have to see what the stewards are going to say on this. Race control, there was some, I'm not sure where the contact, but I don't know if Drapkin was just late on the binders or he got helped.
We had plenty of contact, that's for sure. What a fight, though, from Connor Barry. 2 wins now on the trot in these Triple Crown race formats. And after fighting forward from 8th to 1st, Knupp 2nd, Briley 3rd, Swain, Edmondson, and Drapkin the rest of the top 6. But it's going to be Keaton Swain that leads us to the green for the final time tonight. Countryman, Winicki, Mittag, and Plumley. That's the top 10. And then Evan McFarlane, Sean Winkler, Keith Jeffrey, Crystal King, Cody Vanderveer, Nicholas Dachelet, Tyler Shattuck, and Brody Deshore in front of Tyson Miller and Mason Prater. Once again, Connor Barry in victory lane. He's standing by with Dave Arnold.
Connor, wow, all the way to place, all the way up front. But talk about, real quick, the last couple laps with the battle to the top.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I really did not think that I was going to go out there and win, but I got up to like 5th quick and I was flying. Like my truck was so fast out there. And then yeah, I was able to get up to 3rd, then I got around Zach, and then me and Trenton, we had one heck of a battle. I think we stayed like 2 wide for about I would say a lap, but it definitely was fun, and got 1 more to go and we start in 4th, so it's going to be a battle, and let's see if I can go for a sweep.
Well, we're going to find out how it plays out. You're in that 4th position, and it's going to be a battle royale for this final one, a little bit longer. We'll take it from there. Good luck, Connor Barry.
Take it.
It's a little bit longer, but he's got less ground to work up through the field. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Keaton Swain, Trenton Browley, front row, and Knupp and Barry behind them. We're in for a fun run up to the opening corner with Edmondson and Drapkin, just tucked up behind them. That's the front 3 rows. 7th for Thad Countryman, 8th for Cody Winicki, and then Drake Mittag, Christopher Plumley, the rest of the top 10. McFarlane and Winkler trying to work their way forward and crack into the front echelon with Keith Jeffrey, Crystal King, Cody Vanderveer, Nicholas Dachelet, and then Tyler Shattuck, Brody Deshore, before you get to Tyson Miller and Mason Prater. Remember, 20 trucks to roll out there, 14 minutes on the clock for the first time tonight, and I think we're going to be in for what will be an interesting run to the opening corner, like I said. But after that, I'm really interested, Dave. Are we going to see some drivers who have made friends tonight, or more importantly, enemies from the contact?
Yeah, that's going to be the question there. I know a little battling there. Drapkin was very frustrated starting in the 6th position, but Trenton Brierley is going to be right next to Keaton Swain, who is now 1,100 days dry. It's like a man across the Sahara Desert crawling for a drink of water. That's going to be Swain tonight.
It's going to be to the point where, for Keaton Swain, final rounds of this championship, he's just going to want to grab a victory, no matter what that's going to mean in terms of the championship. Another full formation lap, let's not forget, so we ride on board with Trenton Briley. That's a nice view, not much traffic in front of you. Very different perspective when you get buried in the heart of the pack.
And what's crazy, the perspective, if you were there in real life and you see how steep that hill is, it's intimidating. It's like right there, they're hitting over 100 miles an hour. And then you got to get on the brakes and make this turn. That's gnarly. This track has some of the highest speeds that you'll see in short course.
And it's also one of the shortest tracks as well.
Yes, isn't that crazy?
We don't see them even run off the walls and be as aggressive sometimes with the lines as they are at some of the other tracks around the service, but maybe that is why we typically maybe don't see as much passing, because it's higher speed, because you have a bit more of that intensity around the lap.
Yeah, and it comes to outbraking your competitor sometimes, or, putting that truck in a little bit faster and, shooting that corner a little bit higher speed than you normally would. Sometimes you out-unbrake your competitor.
I'm looking forward to it. The final race of the night, 14 minutes thrown onto the clock. And the question about who will come out on top. For Connor Barry, it looks pretty certain he will be the winner of the main event. Or rather, the Triple Crown. The question will still remain, who wins the main event? And who can hold on to some good points behind them into the second half of this championship season. Just a handful of races left after this before the Pro 4 gets switched to the Pro 2s. And so for the final time this season, let's get this Pro 4 unleashed at the Wild West Motorsports Park. Good launch from Keaton Swain behind. Luke Knupp's going to get physical immediately, bullies his way past Trenton Briley as they dive off of turn 2. Edmondson's alongside of Connor Barry, teammates for 4th and 5th position. A tidy start from all 20 trucks.
Yeah, you can see Swain, he lets Swain with nobody around, nobody to deal with. He's going to hit his fast lines. He knows how to qualify. And as that Crystal King got tied up on the K-rail there, so we go back up front, Luke Knupp trying to chase down with Briley, Edmondson, and Barry in tow. Barry's going to have a little bit of company back. Now, Barry is back to 5th. Look at Edmondson. He was able to shoot up in there. And Drapkin's right behind him. Drapkin, he's looking for redemption, but he's not going to be crazy. But he's definitely going to try and advance. But boy, oh boy, there's some fast guys in front of him. And
Big loser on the start was Crystal King, down 5. +4 for Mason Prater from the back of the grid. And Brody DeShore sitting in pit lane. So there's been some tumultuous stuff down the tail end. Zachary Drapkin trying to get the truck turned in early down through turn 2. And now he's sat behind Barry. Remember, a couple of these drivers just going to be thinking about getting those extra points, the consistency through the course of one of these Triple Crown nights and putting yourself on the board. Edmondson, a small mistake off that 3rd corner. Barry alongside his teammate, who's going to blink down to turn 4.
And Edmondson's going to give him that inside line. Drapkin's going to look low, but Edmondson brings that nose down, tries to shut the door. Boy, Drapkin's had that a lot today happen to him so far. Looking for a little luck. Unfortunately, losing out on that 4th finish on the last turn, so he's hungry. But as we go back on with Barry, as we watch Briley in front of him, Briley concentrating on Knupp. Let's see how Barry's going to set up wide here and try to dive to the inside. Try and get that inside line. He does that every time, but not enough room.
It's now, by the way, 5:30 p.m. in the sim, so that sun has completely shifted from, being in your face up to turn 1 to being on the other side of the track behind. Well, that was lots of contact for one of the Impact Sim Sport machines, so I think that's Drake Mittag, who's lost lots of body work. He's got Thad Countryman alongside, and then pushed through the final corner with Sean Winkler on the scene, 2 wheels. This is great racing, not great to see one in the wall. That's Thad Countryman that loses out through all of it.
And look at the glare these drivers are going to have to deal with when they come up around the other direction. So good thing, only when they're going up the hill they're going to see it. You're not jumping into it like you would in the morning sun. But watching Barry now as he's working on Briley, goes around the long way on the outside. Barry's going to make his way into 3rd now. His sights set up there on Knupp. And Briley trying to work the inside back to him. But great line by Barry, and that's the preferred line.
3 minutes done in this 3rd main event, so 11 still left to go. And Connor Barry back in a position where he will have podiumed all 3 of the races here tonight. That's just that consistency again that we have talked so much about. Keaton Swain's 1 full second clear though up front, so given some clean air, he has been hitting his marks, and he started 4th in the first of our main events tonight and bullied down to the edge of the top 10 through those opening couple of laps. Second main event, again started 4th, able to hold on a little bit better, but for Keaton tonight, he's just been in that mid-pack where it's been physical. Once you put him up front, he's been able to hold on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. You know, Swain, you know, is just starting to run away with this. This could break the dry spell for him. There's no comp cautions you have to worry about. You know that Luke Knupp's going to go into protection mode with Connor Berry coming up on him. You know, and Briley is hoping that Berry and Knupp battle. Because if it does, we know what happens. It usually slows some of these drivers, but I don't know. Knupp and Berry, they seem to get faster when they battle.
It's almost crazy as well, thinking that it's been those same drivers at the front, even with those various inverts. It hasn't been too much chopping and changing. It's been very difficult for drivers to work their way forward. Cody Winicki's had so much damage done, by the way, in the first 5 minutes of this race. He's got a meatball flag. iRacing's telling him, you must come down to pit lane and get some of that fixed. Let's hope no one else joins him in that sort of a situation. Keaton Swain's clearing himself up front. Connor Barry's to the inside of Luke Knupp in the fight for second.
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised Knupp left that door wide open there. Barry's going to have that inside line coming around. Barry's going to swap back, but great drive coming off that final turn for Berry down the hill. Can he match the speed now of Keaton Swain is the question. Swain, nobody to worry about in front of him. It's his track, his lines. You can see, as we go back on board with Luke Knupp, we're going to see it unfold. I mean, I'd love to see the whole race now from this point of view. Can Berry chip away?
Riding on board often shows you those differences in the lines as well, right? So look here, both of them pretty consistent on the entry to 3, but then just Knupp's a little bit more lazy on the mid part of the turn in, and Barry just gets a much better exit, able to get onto that power slightly earlier, and he's going to bring that gap down to the race leader. Edmondson now in front of Briley, who's also been passed by Zachary Drapkin, so there's a bit more shuffling in the mid pack, and now Briley out wide slams the right side into the wall.
Yeah, I can see that Knupp trying to do everything he can now, but he's just slowly sliding back. I think the battle's going to be Edmondson and Drapkin back there, and it looks like Briley is all the way back to 6. It's just kind of shocking to see Briley slide back that far.
Shows, though, I think maybe there has been some evolution in the setups. Briley tries to drill the right rear on Drapkin, who holds on, but that's just that bit more contact and trying to maybe remind them that there's still some fighting going on. I guess track evolution's also played its big part, because this is the biggest gaps that we've had in quite a while. This is a lot more reminiscent of the first main event of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it was rather uneventful in the first. I mean, other than watching Connor move up through it, this is kind of reminiscent of that first one. The second one definitely got more physical, as we look back on board with a very frustrated Drapkin. He seems to be the punting boy today. You know, just when he thinks he's in the right position, he just like, hello. It's like hitting a nitro button for him.
That is some intensity, though, that is for sure. Further back, though, it's Evan McFarlane involved in a fight with Dashley around the outside. And Nicholas Dashley, after I was hyping him up in that first main event, second main event, slightly astray for him, and now trying to fight his way back through the field. Can he sweep that momentum the long way around? That'll be a very impressive pass if he can hold on. I think, no, he'll have to fall back in line behind Winkler, but still alongside of McFarlane. These drivers are starting to lose some time. We're halfway through this final main event of the night.
Yeah, I'm just shocked at this class of drivers we have, that there's this big of a gap here. And it's like, the truck's starting to, third race, losing power, something going south. It just makes you think in real life that's what would happen. But, I mean, it could be, like you said, the track deteriorating, tires deteriorating.
Meanwhile, front of the field, here we go. We were wondering if we'd see a fight. Not really, because Connor Barry slices his way to the race lead. He's about to win 3 races in a row on his way to this Triple Crown win, but Keaton Swain wants to say something about it. Through the final corner, lunges to the inside, and holds up Barry at least momentarily.
Yeah, we don't want to say 1,117 days or 14 days it will be at this point, because it's not something that Swain, now he answers right back, but swapped to the outside again. Let's see if he can get back and establish his position going into turn 2.
Nice little fight, but I think it is now officially done and dusted. Keaton Swain's going to have to try and focus back up there. It's just unfair. It's like a cheat code at this point. Connor Barry needs to be BOP'd. Those are 3 letters that I hate hearing in endurance racing, but let's break it out. Let's add 50 kilos, make it 150 kilos to Connor Barry's truck.
Oh, that's funny. But, it's one of those things. I see drivers, and we've seen it in every sport. You have a run, and then the drivers catch up to you, and then you either change with technology or change the setup, or you have a frustrating season, too. You never know. It's just the luck of how racing is. Woo, that's getting dusty up there.
It's looking very, very different from how we started the night off. 5 minutes left on the clock. And so these laps are ticking away. Yeah, look how much dust there is in the air up to the opening corner, entering at about 100 miles an hour. Evan McFarlane involved in that bit of contact with Keith Jeffrey. The truck's looking slightly different colors in some of this evening light. 2x2 down through that second corner. Crystal King's on the inside, almost turned around by Thad Countryman behind.
And, they're getting to those dry, slick conditions. That's why I think that some of the drivers driving a little bit slower. Car's not so much set up for this. Maybe they didn't have a triple count set up because the track has really deteriorated in the last 3 races.
It's been crazy. This is the most evolution I think we've seen in a Triple Crown format, and hopefully we'll see more of this in the rest of these sort of races moving forward. Fighting up front as they're spinning behind. That was uncomfortable. It's Luke Knupp versus Josh Edmondson. Very easily done through turn 2. Knupp grabs third.
And you can see with, still about 3 minutes, 47 seconds, 46 as we tick down on the clock here. Swain's still in hot pursuit, but Edmondson really, really making a tough time for Luke Knupp. He is all over him. You can see by the fiberglass damage that there has been contact through this race.
This is, again, just a sign of the competitiveness in the series, though. The fact that all of these drivers, they're only losing time because they're fighting so hard to those up front right now. Edmondson, again, looks to try and make that move, but good respect. Not much contact as he gets to the inside. Knupp just drives the long way around. Can see how much they're trying to turn the truck before they even land. They're just anticipating that little bit of that landing and being able to feel the truck dig in virtual reality. No way through for Edmondson just yet.
Yeah, that's what we call back of that sucker in, man. I love how they back it into the corners. Get that rear end all the way around, and the truck just slides, and those front wheels just suck you right around the corner. Love a Pro 4.
But it's totally different to the Pro 2, right? Which is where we're going to head later on this summer.
Yeah, definitely a lot more driving with an egg under your foot. Pro 2.
Edmondson loves that sort of a challenge, by the way, so maybe he's going to be thinking about the summer and maximizing his points and chances there of making it to the playoffs and the World Cup later on this summer and towards the end of this year. That was uncomfortable, though. Slightly clumsy as they make some contact. Doesn't lose them too much time, though. And as Connor Barry heads towards the final corner, and we should be hitting 3 laps left to go as they cross the line.
Yeah, we're hitting that 2-minute mark as it kicks down here. And Knupp did get that breathing room when he over-rotated there. You see that Edmondson locked it up and he was able to not go all the way around, able to keep that momentum. But definitely you can see that Drapkin, Briley, Plumley are trying to make a run on him. The Terminator we're watching right now, Tyson Miller.
Remember not getting through in qualifying for the Terminator, so having to fight his way from the back on a number of occasions tonight. 90 seconds left to go for him. 13th is amongst the highest that he's run throughout the course of the night. I can see Edmondson's back up in front of Knupp as they go through 3. And it's my rough math, and I think Race Control's rough math is aligning right now. In terms of Triple Crown total points, it's Barry on top, Knupp in second, and then Keaton Swain in third. Wow, that's just incredible. Talk about a trifecta
for Connor Berry. That's just going to be incredible. As long as he keeps up on his tippy toes and doesn't let Swain get in his head, but he's got, what, a second on him right now? 1.2 seconds? Incredible.
Like I said, I think we need to find a way of handicapping Connor just slightly. Another medal is headed to his collection at this point. It will be 1 lap to go next time by. 18 laps in this 14-minute race. The 36 under some pressure, Christopher Plumley, and Cody Vanderveer, who, let's not forget, started at the very back of main event number 2. So a good fight back from the 159.
Yeah, Vanderveer with a good run, that's for sure there. You can see... everybody just still battling back there. Nobody's sitting on their laurels. They're all trying to get better position, get more points. As we watch the Shenandoah Shine machine there, Crystal King still battling with Keith Jeffrey, the 199 Sim Sport guy. And look behind him. Yeah, look at Winkler back there. Still in the fight.
That's a truck with 2 wheels in the air. I think that was Keith Jeffrey who got a little bit cattywampus and out of shape. Behind the leader, though, there's a 3-way fight brewing for the final step on the podium. Edmondson holding off Knupp and Drapkin momentarily, but a bit more contact from the 5 as they work through 3. There's going to be a send through the final corner. No ifs or buts about that. And it all but happens as Connor Barry sweeps the night here at the Wild West Motorsports Park. Knupp gets out of short, holds onto the machine. He'll grab 3rd, but it's Connor Barry victorious in the Triple Crown at Wild West.
Incredible run, though. Swain's going to come across in 2nd. Luke Knupp 3rd. Drapkin looking for redemption, but he got 4th, and Edmondson right behind him around our top 5. And there's an elated Connor Berry right there.
Make that 4 wins in 6 events in this season. He is our championship leader and extending his gap at the front of the field. And once again, we'll be chatting with him in a few moments' time. That is domination in a quite remarkable way from Connor Barry in the Channel 199 Sim Racing entry. 1.6 seconds clear of Keaton Swain, who, again, if Heat 1 had gone a slightly better, main event 1 could have had a more chance of fighting at the front. 1.6 is margin up to the leader. And then Luke Knupp rounds out the podium. Some physical fighting with him, Zachary Drapkin, and Josh Edmondson all the way to the line. Trenton Browley showed some speed today, 6th in the final main event, with Cody Vanderveer, Christopher Plumley, Drake Mittag, and Nicholas Dachelet, the top 10. And then 11th going the way of Crystal King, who bested Keith Jeffrey, Sean Winkler, Tyson Miller, Evan McFarland, Mason Prater, and then Thad Countryman, Tyler Shattuck in front of Cody Winicki and Brody DeShure. Well, let's not, I think, keep our podium hanging around so long. We've already talked to Connor Barry plenty, so let's instead start with Keaton Swain, 3rd on the night, standing by with Dave Arnold.
Well, Keaton Swain, unfortunately, another dry spell here, but still sitting pretty in the points there with a 2nd. I got to say, that's a good finish for you. But, man, you got to, what is you going to find an answer for Connor?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an ongoing thing here for 3 or 4 years now, especially when the track doesn't reset like that and it's Blue Groove. He's got something special, whether it's in his driving or setup or a combination of both, that I just don't have right now. I knew, starting on the pole, it was going to be just try to get out front and check out and hope that everyone behind me is battling, and I was able to do that for a bit. But then I saw Connor come in and kind of just wanted him to go by for a little bit, see if I can't learn anything sitting behind him there, and also not battle him too much, trying to hold on, because I saw, Luke and all the guys back there was still coming. So kind of just let him go and see if I can't learn anything, and just drive it home to a 2nd, which we were able to do. So, we'll take the points after last week was not so good. So trying to just, get as many points from here on out to try and climb back up in the standings.
So I got to ask, you said you're trying to learn. Did you learn anything, or is it something you're going to have to go back to the drawing board and maybe rethink some of the setups?
Yeah, definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board. I don't know what he's doing, but he's really good and he knows what he's doing. So, definitely got to work on a little bit on the dry slick stuff there, but obviously it's doable. Connor's able to do it, so just got to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Well, I got to say, a good run, though. Impressive, the way you fought back up and were able to get up there and be up front and battle, You know, it's one of those things we can see you move through the pack, but usually when we see a driver like you get out front, I was expecting you to run away with this one, but the dry slick, I think that affected a lot of the drivers. I think that was very poignant that you brought that up.
Yes, definitely. I think had it been reset on the track, I think I would have liked my chances a lot better. I knew when he didn't reset it that the chances of him coming through the pack was going to be pretty high, because I know, like I said, over the past 3-4 years, he's just been able to figure something out on the dry slick. So, I kind of wish it was reset, but that just means I got to go learn and figure out how to get better on the dry slick.
Well, congratulations on second. You got some points, and I know you got some great people behind you and a team that make this possible.
Yeah, definitely. I got to thank sim coaches. Everyone on my team at Factory Sim Sport. Obviously, everyone that helps Connor's league out to put all this on, and you guys for doing the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Keaton Swain, P2.
Thank you.
We'll catch up now with Luke Knupp, second on the road after the 3 main events. Luke, talk us through that. There's plenty of contact through those races on your account, but it looked like some fun racing as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty feisty night out there. Race 1 was pretty calm and collected, but once the track slicks off and there's no grip, it's just you're fighting for everything you can. So race 2 with the 8 invert was definitely threw a curveball and everything, but we were pretty calm at the beginning and let the action unfold, and then we got up to all the fight, and rubbed elbows a little harder than I usually like to, but nothing those guys wouldn't have done to me either. So stoked with another podium, but man, no one had anything for Connor tonight, so back to the drawing board.
It's going to be my next question. No one had anything for him, but at the very least, you minimized the points that you losed up to Connor, right? So I think in that regard, a pretty good night in the championship. But what are you going to be thinking with 4 rounds left to go? What are you going to do trying to catch that number 2 machine?
We're going to have to throw the whole kitchen sink at it. It seems like we're just fighting for second at this point, but still 4 long rounds to go. Glad to be showing consistent speed back at the front. Qualifying's just been a huge problem for me this season, and it sets me off on a bad foot for the rest of the night, and it's just I'm coming from behind every night, and so it's nice to be able to qualify up front, start up front, and maintain my position up there, and we can clearly see I bring home good points. So 4 races left, so hopefully we can keep the speed going and take this next week off and hit it hard the week after.
Well, enjoy the week off, Luke. We'll see you in a couple of weeks as we dive back into the championship grind.
Yeah, for sure. Just want to give a huge shout out to APV Simulators. They come on huge for not only the series, but me as well. They came on board at the beginning of the season, and they make the best simulators out there. And everyone at Team Gold Esports for all they do. And Impact, Luke Knupp Racing, everyone else, and you guys for broadcasting. Thank you, guys.
That was Luke Knupp, and last but not least, let's catch up with the winner of the night, sweeping the event. It's Connor Barry standing by with Dave Arnold.
Well, Connor Barry, you seem to be the one with the bullseye on your back right now. The drivers seem to be going, we got to find out how to tackle Connor, how to hobble him, how to add more weight, how to slow him down. But, man, I'll tell you seem to have something figured out, and I think it was a good point that was brought up by Keaton is that dry slick, how you're finding those lines and be able to find traction.
Oh yeah. It's been definitely a season where I've been there and I've been able to fight for wins in all of the rounds. That was insane of a night. Honestly, I did not practice at all besides about an hour before this race. So honestly, I did not think that I was going to go out and win this race, but that just shows that I have a truck that's good, and I went out there and drove my butt off, and that was a race. I don't know how the heck I swept that, but that's awesome, and I'm so pumped on that. We won the first race here, we won the second one here, and this race is going to be in the finals as well. So it's definitely good, and we got one fast truck. So it's going to be a good season.
I have a feeling you're keeping that little secret sauce to yourself on that one, the setup.
I mean, honestly, just been focusing on myself. For this year, I know that I am fast. The biggest thing was I would get so stressed out over things that I would start to crumble. And I had 2 goals, and that was to qualify good and win some more. And that's our 4th pole of the year out of 6. My other 2 was a 3rd and a 2nd. So I'm focused and I'm gonna try my best out there. So I'm glad that I was able to go out there and win my 4th one, and we're gonna keep this going into Crandon Short in 2 weeks.
Well, the question is, you've worked on your mental acuity. I guess it's a mental game. You know, racing is what, 50% mental, right? So is that something you've been working on?
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, yeah. The field is so close, and it's going to come down to being smart out there as well. But you need to put yourself in you need to put yourself in a spot where you can go out there and fight. So qualifying was definitely my biggest issue a year ago. I put focus on that, and we were able to get the pole again, and honestly that helped here. But I had to start in 8th and 4th, so I was able to focus on being smart, and we were able to go out there and sweep it.
Well, congratulations. You hit the trifecta, you swept it, you got the broom, and I know you got some great people behind you that make this possible.
Oh yeah, I wanted to give a big thanks to CBR, my teammates. We got, it looks like 4th overall for Josh, and then Keith was out there. We definitely have put in we have put in a ton of work, and it definitely is starting to show up again. So we're going to keep on going strong, and we got 4 more. So it's gonna be a fight.
Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks and see if we can repeat this. Good job, Connor Berry, P1.
Always great to catch up with Connor after a dominant display like that. I can assume he's going to enjoy this off week just that little bit more. An off week as well, Dave, that after 4 back-to-back weeks, I think plenty of these drivers are going to be relishing. We'll head to Crandon, though, for the 2nd time this season on April 16th to get this action back underway.
Well, looking forward to it. Crandon always brings a great race, and will Keaton Swain make that 1,114 days go away?
After that, Bark River, and then our trip to Firebird for the final of the Triple Crown format events before returning to Crandon for hopefully a championship showdown. But it's Connor Barry on top once again in the world of the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series as we leave the Triple Crown events for the 2nd time this season. It's a perfect sweep from Slicky up front. Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the 3-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Knupp wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
2nd place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line. Oh. Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
And history made! Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.